Judge Mazant there in Sherman, Texas, has made a ruling. Jeff, isn't that right?
Yes, he has denied Dallas Cowboys offensive tackle Lael Collins' request for a temporary restraining order against the NFL in his bid to overturn his 5-game suspension. And where I got that from is from a Twitter account of a guy who I was talking to last night, actually, and he was like, hey, keep your head on a swivel. You're going to hear something tomorrow. And so I was waiting for him to say it, and the tweet is out now that Lael Collins will not win against the NFL. He will not get a temporary restraining order, and more details to come. All we know so far is that the judge ruled against LC.
Having considered the motion, response, and arguments of the parties, and in light of the court's extremely limited role at this juncture, the court finds the motion should be denied. No other explanation on why from what I can find across Cowboys Twitter. It's possible, as attorney Daniel Wallach joined us yesterday, that you can't prove irreparable harm once there's one game left. For whatever reason, the courts look at your sports career, not financially, but the experience of playing the games. As Daniel was explaining, like the judge's criteria is your opportunity to play sports is limited. You only play typically in your 20s, maybe your early 30s, unless you're Tom Brady. And the judge can sort of act in your favor if they feel like your opportunity to perform and do all that, your once-in-a-lifetime opportunity is being taken away. But if it's just the finances of it, for whatever reason, that's not a top priority. So, but yeah, maybe he thought maybe he believed the funny business as far as the bribing. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't buy that the NFL lied. Like, it hasn't been confirmed as fact that the NFL lied in the arbitration hearing. So it'll be really interesting to tell. I do wish the Cowboys had his back a little bit more through the process. They're in a really weird spot where you have to kind of show support for the NFL front office and what they want to do. But I wish they would have backed their guy at least. It does. You don't have to fight the NFL to publicly support your guy, but maybe the collection of events over the last 15 months that have led to Lael Collins being unavailable have just got the organization close to fed up, where they're like, man, every time we turn around, it's something else. It's the car wreck, you're not ready, and now the bribing and the drug test, and you could have had 0 games if you would have just accepted it, but you fought it and maybe tried to bribe the guy. So I don't know. Maybe the Cowboys are justified in not supporting the player more.
Could it be something contractually that guaranteed money and stuff like that?
Do you think they would actually want out of Lael Collins' deal next year?
I think every team would love to be out of the guaranteed part of it.
Yeah.
Where
just
you can pick
the
at
option.
any moment to do whatever you want.
And every point that you made, I think, is absolutely correct. But you think of contractually, look what they just went through with Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
They're kind of thinking, well, okay, if we have to guarantee this and guarantee that, and because your inability to,
hadn't stayed healthy
or maintain anything that, off the field stuff, we've had to deal with that. It might be, like you said, general time to cut bait on that one.
Yeah. 9702, he bribed the collector. What do you really expect? Well, that hasn't been proven in a court of law, right? That's an allegation. There was also an allegation from Collins that the NFL fabricated information to convince the arbitrator that he should suspend him for 5 games. So if it's a he said, she said, and I'm a judge, all I can really base my decision off of is what is verifiable evidence. And so I didn't know how presentable those two things were and how much consideration you would go into it. But I also thought that if the NFL had put in the CBA, as of 2020, we are not going to suspend players anymore for missing drug tests. That is only a fine. And you end up with a 5-game suspension. Maybe the judge could have looked at that as like, you're violating what was agreed to in the CBA. This is an easy one. But by the time we got to last Saturday morning, I thought we were trending in this direction. Because if it was as easy as it appeared to be reading through the media to look at these things and be like, oh yeah, the NFL is overstepping its bounds, I think Mazant, just like he did with Zeke 5 years ago or 4 years ago, would have made that quick decision. And the longer it went, the closer we were to this type of a resolution.
The guy that does the testing, did you hear his nickname?
No.
So what is he doing? Like, as he's testing you, what is he doing?
He's looking at your private area.
Yeah, they call him the D Watcher, bro.
D Watcher,
I think Dak came up with that, fam.
Peepers.
What's up, DW?
Peepers.
Well, hey, that is your gig. Yeah, put it right there on my title. Here's my business card.